straight to Antonia with the press review. She's starting with the global publication of Gisèle Pelicot's book. Much awaited release due in a few days' time, but already making front pages here in France, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. So she's been giving a few interviews ahead of the release. This is her on the front page of Libération. The headline reads, Life Before and Her Life After. In this interview, on the inside pages, she talks about before and after, but also those long years in the middle, those gaps in her memory, the health problems she was having in the years that it took her to find out about the abuse that she was subjected to. And then, of course, she talks about the trial, which we all followed, at which she was repeatedly humiliated. But the headline here is, but I was able to face all of these individuals. She admits in the interview that she hasn't always been an activist, that when she was young and the feminist issues on the table were contraception and abortion, her focus then was founding a family. But she says that bringing these men to justice for all the world to see was her way of playing a part, because what was at stake in this trial was the triviality of rape and violence as a weapon of male domination. Now, The Guardian has been quoting some of the extracts that have circulated already from this book. One of them that is extremely powerful on why she agreed to waive her right to a closed-door trial is she said that if not, no one would know what they had done to her. Not a single journalist would be there to write their names next to their crimes, and above all, not a single woman could walk in and sit in the courtroom and feel less alone. Now, Le Figaro has picked up on this quotation in their headline. I don't want this status of victim anymore. The book is described as sensitive and intimate by this journalist, and it's a book about who she is, a way of stepping out of the box that this trial and her victimhood have put her in. It goes back to her life before the abuse, the person she was and still is, the friends she had and still has, and of course, her children.
To the US for this next story. Donald Trump's climate policy continues to reject scientific consensus.
Yes, well, let's start by looking at this piece in Politico. Trump's Environmental Protection Agency to take its biggest swing yet against climate change rules. Now, this is about the repealing of the so-called endangerment finding. That's the scientific finding that greenhouse gases threaten the public health and welfare of current and future generations. It's been enshrined in US legislation in the Clean Air Act since 2009, but this inconvenient fact is soon to disappear from the legislation. This journalist explains that in doing so, the government is revoking its own authority to regulate these emissions, and as such, cutting legs out from under US climate change rules. Meanwhile, in US climate policy, or energy policy, I should say, Donald Trump's push for coal. He's ordering the Pentagon to give priority to buying coal energy. Now, that's extremely controversial, of course, and this journalist describes it as essentially subsidising a heavily polluting fossil fuel that is currently struggling to compete in the marketplace. The US have been very successful in phasing down this energy source. It was 50% of their energy mix in 2000 and is now only 17%. But Donald Trump, of course, does not see this as a success. He wants to cancel the planned retirement of several coal facilities, and even published yesterday on the White House website a fact sheet referring to strengthening the US national defence with America's beautiful, clean coal power generation fleet. Now, of course, the words clean coal don't usually go together on documents entitled fact sheet. Coal is the single biggest contributor to climate chaos. And of course, as a double evil, it also causes particulate pollution, which means it's a health hazard to those who live near these facilities. These are facts. The words clean coal are nothing short of unabated misinformation.
Well pointed out, Antonia. Finally, much of the world's media are in Italy, of course, for the Winter Olympics. The French papers, not surprisingly, they're absolutely jubilant. This is about the medal haul after the Blues won gold in the ice dancing on Wednesday.
Yeah, so let's have a look at some front pages, these quite happy and quite fun montages of French medalists, including the ice dancers. Here you have the headline, an avalanche of medals. You don't need me to explain the snow-based Winter Olympic imagery in that headline. But I'd like you to take you elsewhere to the Italian press, La Repubblica, has this quite intriguing story. They've picked up on one man with many eggs in many baskets. He's a figure skating coach and choreographer to 16 athletes in these games from 13 countries. And that's a lot of work, as you can imagine. It's also a lot of jackets. Now, last night, he had many quick changes. He had to go from his French manager's jacket to his Georgian manager's jacket as the two contestants performed back to back. He then had just a few minutes to change into a Canadian one. I could go on. He's an in-demand, critically acclaimed choreographer with fingers in many pies, and I'm sure you can imagine he's optimising his chances of medals, and what's for sure is that he has an arsenal of warm winter coats, likely unparalleled.
All for free, no doubt, as well, handed down. Very nice. Antonia Carrigan with the papers on France 24. All the latest news. We're going to talk a lot more about that NATO conference, also the Munich conference, with my guest joining us live from Kyiv after the break. Do stay with us.